Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. You're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio, right here on 990 AM WGSO in the heart of the Crescent City. Look, we have a new sponsor, very important guest that's in studio with us tonight. We have Mr. Matt Estrade. Matt has a I'll tell you what, Matt. Look, I'm gonna turn it over to you, Matt. How about you tell the listening audience, what you're about, what you're doing, and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, great. Thanks, Nathan, for having me on.
Oh, absolutely.
So the name of my business, it's a consulting and education business, primarily in Alzheimer's dementia care. So really, my mantra is peace with dementia. How can we create peace for someone who has dementia, for people who are care partners and caregivers for that person? And peace with dementia sounds very odd to most people, especially if their families experience it, because there's nothing peaceful about Alzheimer's or dementia. It's very stressful. It's horrible. It's a very cruel disease that, for most people takes their memory. And sort of why I'm involved is more on the social model of care. So I'm not a physician. I'm going to be a gerontologist. I'm close to a master's in gerontology.
Awesome.
So what I started learning and what I got interested in with my professors is this social model, where the biomedical model is your neurologist, your primary care physician. They check you out. They can give you medicine, but many times they're not able to. Either their practice is not able to, or they're not trained in it, or there's honestly just not enough time with all the patients they have to see to go through all these different non-pharmacological things that you can do. Art therapy, modifying the home to make it easier for that person to get around based on what kind of symptoms they're exhibiting.
So what are some? Say I'm coming off the streets. I'm coming to talk to you. My great-grandfather has Alzheimer's. I mean, what would you, if I come in to speak with you, what would you suggest? Would we sit down? Would we get some kind of game plan together? What would you suggest if I was to come into you and ask for help?
Yeah, so if we meet, I generally ask questions about what kind of symptoms he's exhibiting. What have the physician said? Has he even been to a physician and gotten a probable diagnosis of Alzheimer's? So just gathering some of the facts of that and assessing, who's there to be your care partner. Is it just you? Do you have siblings, parents that could also pitch in? So what's his support network? Figuring out. So you're figuring out what are the challenges, and then also what are the resources. And also, it's very important. People overlook what are the retained abilities of your great grandfather or your grandfather at that moment, because a lot of times someone gets that label of dementia, and there have been people who have that are in the early stages of Alzheimer's, where they can still write, they have many capabilities. They've written books, and most of them address this label of Alzheimer's, where if you get slapped with Alzheimer's, you're just you're dead to the world.
Right.
You're just a shell of a person. And part of what I emphasize in the blog that I write and in the advice that I give and the support groups that I run is that this is a whole person. They may have a probable diagnosis, maybe not, but this is someone who does have some abilities, and we want to try and foster that as much as we can.
I mean, have you noticed, with some of these Alzheimer's patients or patients with dementia, if you work the brain as far as staying active and playing memory type games and just really working the mind, does that have from what you've noticed, does that have a positive effect on them?
There are studies that say that the more engaged you are, that it could stave it off. So we're healthy. So it's something that it's part of prevention. It's like it's exercise and having a good diet. Avoiding grains, carbohydrates, stuff like that. Just sort of the pilot data. That's part and parcel with the lifestyle,
right?
With the diet, with the exercise, is staying engaged, not only with intellectually, but with people. I mean, we're complex creatures, so us talking right now, having a conversation, is really taxing in a good way our brains.
Right, no doubt. So I mean, y'all come up. I mean, if I was to come with you, I mean, come to you, and all right, this is the problem. You know, my great grandfather, he's struggling, and if I was to sit down and we would come up with a game plan, I mean, do y'all look at like nutritional aspect? I mean, we would sit down and look at diet, what we're eating. You know, what all would we focus on? I tell you what. Look, we're about to go to a break. Let's hold the response till we come back. Ladies and gentlemen, we're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio right here on 990 AM WGSO. I'm talking with Mr. Matt Estrade, the care partner for mentoring.com, Peace with Dementia. Matt, everybody, give the website out.
All right, so I have two. The one I'd rather people focus on, because it's all free education, is peacewithdementia.com. It's also the easiest to remember, peacewithdementia.com.
Yeah, that's pretty simple. Peacewithdementia.com. Check it out. And we'll be talking with Mr. Matt Estrade more when we come back from this break. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio. We have Mr. Matt Estrade with us for about 5 more minutes. Look, I believe we have a caller, Goyam, who wanted to ask you a question. Goyam, are you there?
Hey, Matt, how's it going?
Hey, Goyam. Thanks for calling.
Hey, how's it going, Nathan? Really quickly, personal experience. My father's been taking the Nexium pill, and I think it's been linked to dementia and whatnot, and I've just seen it with all the medicine he's been given over the years. He just slowly turned from like a functional man to kind of like a bitter, forgetful, chronically in pain, just ill-willed human being, and he just like, he can move. The weird thing is I tell him it's like, okay, every time you take these pills, you feel worse, you're complaining more, blah, blah, blah. The commercials are coming out saying that if you took Nexium, you might get dementia, and the list goes on and on with all the medicines. Why do so many people trust these doctors so much? And I mean, he even tells me, like, you're not a doctor. So, I mean, why do people trust this medical mafia so much as opposed to, maybe thinking with their own body and what their body is telling them?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not sure about the link. There may or may not be a link, but I haven't seen anything, and I try not to give medical advice.
Right.
But I do encourage everybody to, to Google things and talk to their pharmacist. And there's so much out there, both pro drug and against pharmaceuticals, that you're bound to find the truth there.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a happy medium. I mean, there's some great drugs out there that can save your life, but it just seems like, there's a pill for everything now. There's a pill if you got yellow toenails, but if you leave the side effects, your kidneys are shut down. I mean, I think I'm a pass on that one. I didn't mean to cut you off, Matt. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. Yeah, that's all I would suggest. And if you want to follow up with me, if you go to my website, peacewithdementia.com, and just you can find my email or leave a comment, and we can follow up after.
All right, thanks, Matt. Talk to you later.
Well, we really appreciate it, Goyam. Thanks. Good luck with your dad, man. Yeah, I mean, this subject here, we was talking off air, man. And look, everybody go check Matt's website out. That's www.peacewithdementia.com. And I'm going to put it up on on the show's Facebook page after the show so everybody can see it. People need to just sit down with their loved ones, see where they're at, maybe contact, if this is affecting you, maybe contact Matt. Maybe he can help you out.
Yeah, and if they go to the website that you've been plugging, peacewithdementia.com, they'll find several articles that are based in science, based in evidence on non-pharmacological things that you can do. It's a whole shift in perspective to see the person that's living with dementia as a person. I mean, for a lot of people, that just in itself, changes their world. And then so I like to get people to that perspective. And then also, how do you do it? Like, I like it to be very practical. And I want to get back to your question before the break.
Right.
Do I look at diet and other things like that? So I focus on on some of the things that you can do with the person. Certainly, diet is one of them. In cases like that, I like to reach out to all the specialists that I know in the community. Right. So I know audiologists, and I know physicians, and I know nurses, and I know dietitians that can speak to it. So I also like to kind of be a conduit when there's a question that I can't answer, is not in my specialty. I have this network of people who feel the same with me about dementia, and they're going to try to help you the best that they can.
Man, that's some great advice, Matt. And look, I suggest to anybody out there that's dealing and living with dementia, or somebody, a family member has dementia. Look, reach out to Matt. What is it going to hurt? Reach out. You might be able to find a great program, or get something put in place that really maybe will change your life. Look, please go to his website. It's peacewithdementia.com, and we'll have Matt back on soon, and we'll discuss this a little further. But look,